understand the game. Now, there's a lot of potential in dealing with Black Hat traffic storm. The main power comes from leveraging not just any traffic source, such as the ones you're probably familiar with. Since pay-per-click is with major search engines, such as MSN, Yahoo, and of course Google, is becoming more and more fierce, you want to take advantage of other traffic sources that are relatively untapped to this day. Black Hat Traffic Storm 2 deals primarily with using adware networks in new ways with unheard-of twists. When we first launched the original report last year, a lot of you guys were exposed to adware networks for the first time and shocked by the good results. Even though it's been a while since our first launch, this underground source of traffic is still relatively new and will continue to be very profitable for many of you. That is, if you follow this training very, very closely. Of course, you won't just be using adware networks and be done with that. The guiding principle behind Black Hat Traffic Storm is to use a system of unique twists that takes advantage of all your competitors to maximize your own profit. For those who are new and don't know what they are, here's a very brief overview. Now, of course, if you're wondering what an adware network is, you may consider it as a viable alternative to pay-per-click. And yes, there's a much cheaper and better alternative to Google and many of the search engines that you already know. Here's how it works. There are networks out there that work very similar to pay-per-click, but rather than controlling advertising space that you're used to, such as on the side of the search engines, you can now control the space on the user's desktop. Depending on a network's reach, a single adware network alone can reach over 10 to 30 million users by itself. Again, that's only from a single network. That's a lot of impressions they can get at any given time. They function and work very closely to PPC. So for those of you who are already familiar with that, then there's not much of a difference. You may bid on keywords, domains, or even specific URLs. Now, similarly, if you win the bid for a particular term, then your ad will be shown. Your ads are usually displayed when, number 1, the user does a search on a given search engine. For example, if a term "buy cheap MacBooks" is typed and the bid is won for that ad, then it will appear. Number 2, the user types in the given domain name and then the ad will appear. For example, if you target a competitor in a pet niche called Doghouse World, then your ad will appear whenever the user types in or visits the domain doghouseworld.com. This applies to all their pages. Now, of course, there's a third. The user types in a specific URL. For example, the user types in www.doghouseworld.com/buy.html. Then that ad will appear only for a specific URL, but not for an entire domain. Again, this is when the bid term is won, and not for whenever a domain is typed. This is used for more targeted terms and better conversions. One of the strategies revealed later on will take advantage of this. Now, the way the adware networks obtain users is a very important factor when deciding on the networks to go with. Networks usually obtain users by having them download a program, software, or other various items. The first thing that should be clear is that adware is much, much more different opposed to spyware. The main difference is in the fact that adware is based on consensual download. During installation, there's an agreement form in areas that tell the user that ads will be displayed afterwards from time to time. The user who is downloading an item is fully aware of this, and the ads are better received as a result when they appear. This is definitely completely and absolutely legal. On the other side, there is what you would call spyware. Now, most likely you are already familiar with these. These work the same way, however, they are not consensual. In most cases, the user is fully unaware that spyware is being installed onto their system, and is not well received at all. In some cases, the spyware can actually be harmful to the user. The most important thing to note is that I only recommend using adware and not spyware. Of course, you are free to use spyware on your own if you choose to, and I will briefly go over that. Again, there is a big difference. Not only is it better received, but you actually get a better chance of converting with adware traffic as a result, of course. Although you may use spyware if you choose to, I really don't recommend it at this stage. With that said, I want to introduce you to also Trust E. When dealing with adware traffic, you want to use networks that are usually Trust E verified. They are a third-party network that deals with web privacy. Networks that are Trust E verified are more trustworthy when it comes to displaying ads and are much more restricted on protecting the user's privacy and personal information. Although you don't have to dig for networks that have been verified, it's my own preference, and I just like to share this with you. I mentioned most of this in the main PDF, so you should refer to that. Now, another main part that I want you to understand with AdWords traffic is that ROI potential can be very, very high. Let's take a quick look on Google for this example. Now, let's make up a quick example for a competitive niche. For example, let's type in something like loans. Click on search. Now you take a look at the top 3 competitors: online loans in 1 hour, poor credit personal loans, and loans. These are the top 3 competitors, and most likely it's going to cost them a bundle just to be in this position. But wait, let's check here. Now click on more sponsored links. As you can see, there are over 628 competitors in the loans market. Of course, this includes broad matches and phrase matches as well, because most likely these people aren't all competing against this term. But as you can see, 628 competitors for a very, very high cost keyword is still a lot. To demonstrate that point, let me click on Google's traffic estimator tool. I already have the keywords ready, so I'm just going to copy and paste them in here. Now, of course, this is imaginary cost that I'm willing to spend. If you read the main PDF, you'll see that for a top position, the costs are actually $8 to $11 and well beyond the range. Now we're going to check the United States. Click continue. And as you can see, the estimated average cost per click can be anywhere from $2.32 to $3.48 to get an average position of 1 to 3. For our term loans, which you just looked at on Google, these competitors are paying anywhere from $2.67 to $3.95 for a top 1 to 3 position. For payday loans, you don't even get close to touch the 1 to 3 position, even at this cost. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not want to compete against 628 competitors at a cost per click that cost me roughly this much. Of course, there are other factors involved, such as the landing page and quality score. But even with just that headache and these costs alone, it takes way too much effort. Whereas in Black Hat Traffic Storm, it's all about directly avoiding not just a competitor, but avoiding high cost per click. I'll be showing you the strategy involved, but again, Black Hat Traffic Storm mainly involves using AdWords traffic. I'm going to direct you to media traffic right now, for example. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is media traffic's login, and don't worry, I'll be explaining this a little bit more later on. The first thing we need to do for this test campaign is to put in your name of a campaign. Since it is demonstration purposes, click on save. For now, we're going to type in any name for us and any destination URL we want. Again, none of this matters. I'll be showing you more about how this works later on. But for now, let's just put in the keywords. Now, these are the exact same keywords we use on Google. And as you can see, the average cost per click, or rather cost per view. Now, as you can see, the average cost per view for these terms are close to a penny. The magic of it is you do not have to have a landing page, you do not have to have complicated search engine rules, or any of the usual factors involved. The potential for ROI is also much higher at both a lower cost for faster results without any of the headaches. And I do want to emphasize that. I also want to point out that conversions are sometimes much lower when dealing with AdWords traffic. However, at the extremely low cost, it definitely offsets the lower conversions to your favor. It makes it much more easier to enter even the tougher niches that we just saw. Now, of course, with strategy I'll be reviewing later videos, you'll be able to maximize your profit and eliminate most of the risk involved in AdWords traffic. And there is going to be surprises I'll be showing you later on. The most important note that you have to get on this is later on we're going to show you exactly how to increase your conversion rate even with AdWords traffic, so that not only do you even out, you'll be breaking into these tough niches at a much higher conversion rate. In the next video, I'll be discussing with you the details on how to get this started.